Alrighty, and we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Banging the Booth Podcast. Just gonna get everything simple. We'll be ready to go. Everyone's day's going well, week's going well, weekend going well. If you missed it, I posted on my live community tab. On the community tab, I also posted a TikTok. Last week I didn't do an episode just because I had a lot of shenanigans over the weekend. As I went to Chicago for the weekend as my grandparents had their 50th anniversary, and I just had a lot of shenanigans that caused me to be backed up on notes and just felt this would be best option. And I'm doing it unusually on Sunday, not just because Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all dads out there, but also because I'm going to be traveling this week even, so this was like the best day for me to do it. Best availability. All right, let's get right to it. So today's Immaculate Grid. Cubs right field minimum one game, 2,000 plus career hits. Tigers, Phillies, 100 plus RBI season. Cubs, Tigers, Justin Wilson, go Jamer, Junior Candelario, go to Castellanos. Where do I want to go here? Oh, here's a sneaky answer. Carlos Pena is 0.6%. I will very much take that. Cubs, Phillies, Cole Hamels could fit. Schwarber obviously fits. Cubs and Phillies. Cubs and Phillies. Who else would fit for Cubs, Phillies? Oh, Hector Neris would fit. That's probably not going to be so popular. 0.4%. I'll take that. 100 plus RBI season. I have to imagine Brian had one at least in one of those. Not the rookie year. Then again, he might be a higher answer because of recency. Mark Grace by chance? No. Andre Dawson? 11%. We'll take that. Tiger right field minimum of one game. Andy Dirks, random bench player, came to mind, 0.3%. Phillies outfielder Ben Revere came to mind, 0.3%. 100 plus RBI season for a right fielder minimum of one game. From Billy Williams, 0.5%. 2,000 plus career hits. Tigers. Trammell probably fits. Miggy would fit. Something tells me K-Line probably would fit. Kirk Gibson fit? No. Let's jump here. 100 plus RBI season, 2,000 plus career hits. K-Line fit here? Yes. 0.5%. I'll take that. Total rate scored 213, but I'm going to keep going because I bet he would be higher for Tigers 2,000 plus career hits. I think Greenberg, would he have had enough? No. Fielder? No, probably too short. I think Cecil's also around that same number. I'll throw Cecil out there just while I'm at it. But yeah, I had a feeling that we may know. 3%. I will take that. And then Phillies, 2,000 plus career hits. Shane Victorino. Do we have enough? No. Jason Worth. No. Kenny Lofton, I imagine, probably. Yep. 0.5%, I will take that. 0.9%. 213 total rarity score. None of my answers were any of the top answers, oddly enough. Top answers for each category. Cubs, Tigers, 35% is Javier Baez. Cubs, Phillies, 21% Schwarber. Cubs, 100 plus RBI season at 18% is Sammy Sosa. Right field minimum of one game for the Tigers, 10% is Kirk Gibson. Phillies in right field minimum of one game at 23% is Bryce Harper. Right field minimum of one game, 100 plus RBI season batting at 9% is Aaron Judge. 2,000 plus career hits with the Tigers, 27% is Miggy. Phillies, 2,000 plus career hits batting at 29% is Mike Schmidt. And 2,000 plus career hits with 100 plus RBI season at 5% is Albert Pujols. Those answers make sense for being top. For now, daily walk-off. We're doing Mets and Phillies. Today the theme is 1997 positions of outfield, infield, starters, and relievers. I'm going to separate this as best as I can between hitters and pitchers. That's how I usually do it, and then work from there. Fonzo's definitely a hitter. Franco's a pitcher. Bobby Jones is a pitcher. Baerga is a hitter. Those I know at least off the bat. I think Reed is a pitcher, but I'm not. Let's submit this and see where this gets me. Okay, so there's definitely going to be swap of Ross and Husky, I think. Yeah, there we go. Walk-off homer with an out. So, full correct answers for the Mets. 1997 mainly played outfield, Butch Husky, Bernard Gilkey, Carl Everett. 1997 mainly played infield, Ray Ordonez, Carlos Baerga, Edgardo Alfonso. 1997 starting pitcher, Rick Reed, David Malicki, and Bobby Jones. 1997 reliever, Barry Manuel, Mel Rojas, and John Franco. And in the Phillies, same categories, different players: Darren Dalton, Scott Rowland, Calvin Maduro, Wayne Gomes, Matt Beach, Midray Cummings, Kevin Stocker, Reggie Harris, Kurt Schilling, Rico Brogna, Billy Brewer, and Greg Jeffries. I know Dalton, Rowland, Brogna, I believe Jeffries, and then that's as much confidence as I am with hitters and pitchers. Let's see where this gets me. Either be fully correct, fully here, or might have swaps. And definitely gonna have some swaps. But at least got like a base outline. Swap these for hopefully at least one of these is wow, and it definitely got two correct because otherwise I would have been out number 3. And we'll end up with a walk-off double. So full correct answers for the Phillies. 1997 mainly played outfield. Darren Dalton, Greg Jeffries, Midray Cummings. 1997 mainly played infield, Scott Rowland, Rico Brogna, Kevin Stocker. 1997 starting pitcher, Kelvin Maduro, Matt Beach, Kurt Schilling. 1997 relievers, Wayne Gomes, Reggie Harris, and Billy Brewer. And Statpad game, which is going to be a very complicated one, and trying to predict who had the most losses for each category. 2000 to 2026 Yankees. 2026 Yankees for losses. More like bad pitchers over these years. Shen-Ming Wong, but then he also wasn't much healthy. But he came to mind. Yankees are tough because, like, they're good for most of those years. Honestly, he's the only. Like, I don't have any idea of how these. Yeah, it was a bad pick. AJ Burnett, really? I don't know. Sometimes these answers be surprising. 2025 in the NL Central. Sonny Grano had like a decent year, but I think he also had a good amount of losses. Cardinals did not have a great year. So that could be someone. I have a feeling I'm going to be struggling with this category. Because also, even when pitchers suck, they might not even end up getting the decision. So that's like the tough part. Colorado. Mizurowski, no chance. Skeens had more no decisions than anything. I'm honestly going to go Sonny Gray. 90%, I will take that. Mitch Keller. Okay, that's, I guess, so fair enough. Currently in MLB, not doing that great. No, Jameson Tyone isn't doing that well for the Cubs. I don't know if he's high up there. 91, I will take that. Michael Lorenzen. 2025 AL East. Rays pitching was messy. Dean Kramer. 97 percentile, I'll take that. Ryan Pepio. Okay, fair enough. And Phillies 2020-26, where you have plethora of years of like people that good. And Nick Pivetta. Is there any chance he's up there? I will take that 99 percentile. So rough start, bounce back. I did beat the target score. My total score was 44. So you know what? I will take that for a category I wasn't expecting to do that well in. Not so bad. But yeah, as for what happened over the weekend, so I went to Chicago for my grandparents' 50th anniversary. We were supposed to fly Thursday on like a morning flight. And then just as we're about to leave for the airport, flight gets delayed from like 9, 10 o'clock all the way to 12, which is like, okay, this is odd. Now, there was supposed to be weather like in the back end of the night, like in the night, and we'll get to that eventually. But like, this was, the weather wasn't even the reason for the delay. The delay was due to maintenance. So then we're like, okay, we end up getting the airport. And then it gets delayed from 12 to 4. And it's like, okay, this is a bit odd. And they're not saying much other than maintenance. And then eventually got delayed slowly but surely to 8. And already this is getting like, okay, this is really starting to get odd. American's not telling us anything because it's American Airlines. Then they, on the app, you could see where the flight's coming in from. It was coming from Charlotte. But even as we were getting to 20 minutes to boarding, it hadn't even taken off in Charlotte. And eventually around like 8, or late 8-ish, they're like, flight's canceled. And we're like, oh boy. And then we ended up having, so luckily we had tickets saved for the LaGuardia flight. So he literally shifted airports and somehow managed to get from LaGuardia to JFK to LaGuardia in 20 minutes. Which I will tell you, that is a miracle because it is rare to get from one airport to the other in New York with how much traffic the highway in between can get in 20 minutes. But even that flight was delayed. It was supposed to be around 8-ish, got delayed till 9, got delayed till 10, 11, and 12. Then they didn't have a crew fully at the time. And then the crew finally shows up and the PA announcer like, oh yeah, that's not for our flight. And I'm like, really, dude? Are you like really trying to mess with people right now? And then they finally get the crew, finally start to seam the board, and then someone comes out with like a look of uh-oh, and everyone's just like, oh no. And they're like, we're sorry, we were really trying to push this flight out, and flight's canceled because of the not the main pilot, but the second pilot is too tired to fly out. And we're just like, oh my goodness. And at that point, it was like 1 a.m. I think even 2 a.m. at that point. I lost track of what time it was. And I barely got sleep I didn't get much sleep that night. Because then I ended up flying Friday. And I ended up getting back smoothly. Friday went smooth, got back smoothly on Monday. But yeah, that was just a gigantic mess of a whole bunch of hours. And also, like, the stupidest thing is, like, you think, like, okay, like, you think you'd get decent compensation for a maintenance delay to cancel your flight? And it's like, oh, and also I forgot to mention around the LaGuardia flight, a lightning storm out of nowhere came and hit, and that delayed all. That also had a factor in that delay. But they only gave $12 food meal compensation for the American flight that was delayed due to maintenance. And we're just like, really? Like, you're delayed. You get delayed and canceled many hours, not helping people get to their destination, and your compensation is $12 meal vouchers. I'm sorry, that's not enough. Now, the funny thing was, I didn't have to check bags, but I'm not even. But yeah, so that's what happened over the weekend, and why I didn't do an episode Tuesday or Wednesday. That chaos just backed me up on notes. But I still wanted to put something out this week, and was able to get something together for today, and then hopefully next week I should be able to put out something. But that's also going to be the last episode for a few weeks. So just to give a time frame, next week I'll probably do Monday or Tuesday episode, hopefully, and by Wednesday night, I believe it is, I'm already flying to Switzerland / Europe for a whole family trip out there. And over those few weeks, I am definitely not going to be putting out an episode. The rough part is I will not. That is including All-Star Game. As the All-Star Game is like right when I come back, I believe. I did just realize I didn't even put in the notes, but I'm going to even fill out an All-Star bracket today, All-Star ballot today. But yeah, so at the end of the day, so from the week from after, let's say July 30th, the week of the 8th, the 7th, Tuesday the 7th, and the week of Tuesday the 14th, those weeks will not have episodes. I'll probably be back the 21st, if not the 28th. I don't know. I'll have to see. Depends on once I'm back from Europe. But definitely after next week, there will be a few weeks I won't be able to do an episode. Let me see if I can pull out All-Star Game ballot. If I can do a ballot, that would be a fun thing to do. I didn't consider for doing for a podcast. MLB.com. Let's see. Here, All-Star ballot. I can fill one out. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So they also have the top vote getters so far for each, but I'm not going to focus on vote getters. So you pick one player for each position except for outfield, which is 3. You do not pick pitchers as preset. You can also set the category by like what they lead in. I want to set it by OPS. I don't know if I'm going to pick the top. I also will not be going Cubs because realistically, I don't think anyone's doing enough for the Cubs to like really deserve the top spot. American League first base. So there's Ben Rice, Nick Kurtz. Here's your option. The options they give. I know Murakami's been on a crazy run. I have a feeling there's a good chance he will be the sole White Sox guy. Whether he gets the start, I'm not as sure if that will be. Here's Murakami, Rice leading in homers, average, RBI, not RBIs, and OPS. Interesting. But yet, Vlad is getting the top. Well, then again, Toronto's apparently been getting like the top of most of these categories, supposedly, yeah. Ernie Clement's the top for second base. Okamoto in second for third base. He struggled early on, but he started to bounce back a bit. Andres Jimenez in second for shortstop. Catcher Alejandro Kirk in second. Outfield. Well, no outfield Blue Jay in the ranking, oddly enough. DH George Springer. So yeah, it's like been heavily favoring the Blue Jays on these ballots. I'm gonna say Ben Wright. I would want to say Murakami for getting the White Sox vote, but I'm not sure if he'll start. But I think he will be the White Sox guy in. But first starter, I'm gonna say Ben Rice. The National League, Matt Olson's having a pretty good season. Bryce Harper actually had a start night last night. We'll dive into. I'm definitely not going Michael Bush. Like he's been having rough patches here. Braves also been a crazy story. Oh, and honestly, I think I do agree with him to be up there. Second base, Lau's been crazy story there. Weatherholt's been pretty good for St. Louis. I mean, Ernie Clement's having a solid season, but I don't know if I give him top votes. I don't think Bazana's played enough just yet to like per se give vote to. Duran's having a solid year. Um, I think I get the Soul Pirates because that would probably be Skeens, but he could get in. Ozzy's a top vote getter. Um, hmm. I'll go Ozzy. Al. I mean, Early's doing pretty good, but I don't know if I'd give him my vote per se. Duran's having a solid year. Um, I'll give it to Duran. Third base. Yeah, Bregman not getting my vote. Honestly, no, I wouldn't give it to Okamoto. Honestly, I would say Caminero has been really good for Blue Rays and one of their lone bright spots. Once he's having a good year, Kersman's been interesting. Honestly, I'm going to say Muncy. Shortstop, Bobby Witt's the top vote getter. Honestly, I'd probably be good with voting Bobby Witt. Mookie and Abrams are the top vote getters for National League. Abrams is having a good year. Actually, I'm kind of good with that. Langoliers and Kirk. Yeah, Langoliers has been doing pretty good for himself. And then Will Smith and Drake Baldwin. Dodgers, I feel like, would be more heavily favored, but yeah, it's Braves. But then again, Braves have been having a really good year. Yeah, I'd say Drake. Outfielders, National League. Mets have been rough this year. So's having a decent year, though. PCA, even PCA, as much as he's been starting to, like, get it going a bit late, I don't know if I would still even give him my vote. Andy Pajes and Ronald Acuna. Ronald, I could definitely agree with. Big part of why the Braves are as good as they are right now. Teo, Andy Pajes. I don't know if I'd say Andy Pajes is like would be my vote. I mean, then again, Soto might be the lone guy for the Mets. Given, I mean, where's Lindor on here? Lindor's not doing that great. Honestly, I would maybe even give Soto. And then I'll give the other spot to am I giving it to PCA? No. I'll give it to James Wood. Trout just got hurt, but like definitely be worthy to get in if he could be healthy. Judge is having a really good year, definitely deserving. Buxton's having a good year. I think he also got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, jeez. When you do that, Bucks here. Or never mind, not her. But Mike Trout is her, I believe. Honestly, I'm down to give Buxton my vote. I kind of want to vote Trout, just like he's got in, but I don't know if he's gonna be healthy in time for the All Star game. I'm gonna vote as if he might not be. And I'll say Julio. DH, I mean, it's as much as Schwarber's having a really good year. When Otani's breaking, you go Otani. And Jordan, I don't think it's close. And those are my picks. So Ben Rice, Matt Olson, Ezekiel Duran, Ozzie Albies, Max Muncy Jr., Cam Nero, Bobby, C.J. Abrams, Shane Langoliers, Drake Baldwin, Juan Soto, James Wood, Ronald Acuna, Byron Buxton, Aaron Judge, Julio Rodriguez, Shohei Ohtani, and Jordan Alvarez. Oh, fuck. That's about the extra details, man, if I want to. Okay. So MLB Weekly Recap, which is just from going back to Wednesday through yesterday, not including the games I've gone final so far. But going back to Wednesday, June 17th, Diamondbacks beat the Angels 8-1. Corbin Carroll's go-ahead grand slam homer in the second marks his fifth grand slam in his career, which is tied for second most Diamondbacks history behind Matt Williams' 7, tied with Eugenio Suarez. Yankees beat the White Sox 10-5. Colson Montgomery's two-homer game marks 40 home runs in the first 140 career games, which is fused to 40 homers in White Sox history. Giants beat the Braves 7-5. Luis Arias 2-run homer and Bryce Elder solo homer. Back-to-back homers in the second marks 22-game on base streak for Bryce Eldridge at 21 years old, which is tied for the sixth longest 21-year-old or younger streak in Giants history since 1900, behind 1929-30, 28-29, and 29 and 30. Mel Ott, 40 games, 30 games, 28 games, and 22 games. Part of a tie. This is 22. 1918, Ross Young's 30. 1959, Willie McCovey's 25, and Fred Merkel's 23, and also tied with 19.4 for Travis Jackson. The homer for Luis Arias also marks 71 games with at least one hit to start the season, which is the fifth longest streak to start a season in Giants history since 1940, behind 2000 JT Snow 89, 1940 Burgess Whitehead 78, 1977 Bill Madlock 74, and 1967 Willie Mays 73. Cubs beat the Rockies 8-6. Sterling Thompson's two-homer game makes him the sixth Rockies player to hit first two homers of his career in this first game, same game, and first is 2022 Bryant Severn. And general note from this J. Jackson Jurrio's two-run homer in the fourth for the Brewers game. Pete Crow Armstrong slow home run in the fourth in the Cubs game. Hunter Goodman's two-run homer in the eighth in the Cubs-Rockies games is each player's eighth home run this month, which is tied with Nick Kurtz for the most homers in June in 2020 this season in MLB. That's it for June 17th. For June 18th, Mets beat the Phillies 6-4. Juan Soto's two-homer game marks 30 such games before turn 28, which is tied for third most MLB history behind Jimmy Fox's 32 and Eddie Matthews and Alex Rodriguez's 31, and tied with Mel Ott and Ralph Kiner. That is it for June 18th. For June 19th, Cubs hammered the Blue Jays 16-2. The 7-run first for the Cubs and the 7-run second that they had from Wednesday marked 7+ runs in an inning in back-to-back games for the first time since July 5th to the 6th, 2001, and first at Wrigley since May 7th to the 8th, 1984. And for the Tigers game against the White Sox, where they won 4-3, Trey Cruz starting in right field for the Tigers makes his family of Jose Cruz and Jose Cruz Jr. the fifth family to have a grandfather, father, and son all reach MLB, joining Gus, Brody, David, and Mike Bell, Ray, Bob, Brett, and Aaron Boone, Joe P., Joe H., and Casey Coleman, and Sam Jerry Jr., and Scott Harrison. Yankees beat the Reds 5-0. Cam Schlittler's 10 strikeouts in the first 4 innings of the game makes him the sixth Yankees pitcher since 1969 to do so. And first with 0 walks in those 4 innings, 0 walks in the game at all, even for him. His 13 strikeouts in total and 0 walks at 25 years old and 25 years and 134 days old makes him the youngest pitcher in Yankees history with 13 plus strikeouts and 0 walks in the game. His 1.71 ERA in the first 16 starts this season, since it starts this season, is lowest ERA by a Yankees pitcher in the first 16 starts of the season since 1964, way for is 1.47. His 2.25 ERA in his first 30 career starts with the Yankees is tied for the second lowest in the first 30 starts of the Yankees since 1913, behind 1966-68 Stan Ban's 2.05, and tied with 1960-61 Bill Statpad. Brewers beat the Braves Braves beat the Brewers 3-2. Man. Jacob Mizrachi's 7 strikeouts and 0 extra base hits allowed marked 87 strikeouts and 1 extra base hit in the last 9 starts. He's the only pitcher since 1900 with 60 plus strikeouts and 1 or 0 extra base hits allowed in a 9-game span. Diamondbacks beat the Twins 9-5. Corbin Carroll's bases clearing triple in the 8th marks his 52nd career triple, which ties Stephen Drew for the most in Diamondbacks history. Also marks 10 homers and 9 triples this season in 75 games, and the second time he's done so, with the last season being the last time he did it, making him the second player to do so since 1900, 2 times in his career, joining 1925 and 1930 Keith Kyler, which is even before the Diamondbacks were even a franchise, as they started in 1998. And from yesterday, June 20th, Reds beat the Yankees 10-2. Sal Stewart, 6 RBI games at 22 years old, makes him tied for second most 6+ RBI games in the season. He had one earlier this year at 22 years older or younger since 1920, behind 1934 Hal Trotsky, and tied with 2019 Yordan Alvarez, 1930 Jimmy Fox, and 1930 Mel Ott, which I think he had. Hal Trotsky, I think, had 3. Also makes him the second Reds player with 2 6+ RBI games in the team's first 75 games of the season since 1920, joining 2019 Derek Dietrich. Braves beat the Brewers 4-3. Ozzie Albies 2-homer game, including a walk-off 2-run homer in the 9th, making him the first Braves player to do so since April 6, 2013, Justin Upton. And then the big game of notes, not as long as the Cubs-Giants from an episode or 2 ago, but the Phillies beat the Mets 15-3, and this was the big game of Schwarber's 3-homer game and Bryce Harper's cycle. But even from Schwarber's first 2 homers, which were all in the 3rd inning, makes him the 4th Phillies player with 2 homers in an inning, joining August 19, 2023 Trey Turner in the 8th, June 11th, 1985 Von Hayes, and June 2nd, 1949 Andy Seminick in the 8th. I think Von Hayes was like in the 1st or 2nd inning, if I remember correctly. Schwarber's 3-homer game makes him the 4th Philly. Marks his 4th with the Phillies, which passes Mike Schmidt for the most in Phillies history, as well as Harper hitting for the cycle, makes Philly the second team in MLB history to have both in the same game, joining June 3rd, 1932 Yankees at the Philadelphia Athletics, Tony Lazzari cycle, and Lou Gehrig 4-homer game, also in Philly. I think that was Athletics and not the Phillies. Looking back at it. Might be wrong, but either way, it was in Philly also. Schwarber's 3-homer game is his 5th in his career, which is tied for second most in MLB history behind Mookie Betts, Sammy Sosa, and Johnny Mize at 6, and tied with Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Delgado, Mark McGwire, Joe Carter, and Dave Kingman. But if including playoffs, Albert Pujols will also have 5, as he had 4 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs. Bryce Harper cycles the 7th player, makes him 7th player since 1961 with the cycle within the first 5 innings of the game. He completed in the 5th inning, joining August 3rd, 2015, Adrian Beltre, October 2nd, 2009, B.J. Upton, June 18th, 2000, Greg Jeffries, April 22nd, 1980, Ivan DeJesus, and July 8th, 1970, Jim Ray Hart. Schwarber's 3-homer game now marks 215 homers with the Phillies, which is tied for 3rd most with the team in the first 5 seasons with the team in MLB history, behind Babe Ruth 235 with the Yankees and Mark McGwire's 220 with the Cardinals, and tied with Ralph Kiner with the Pirates. And that's it for the notes part of this week's episode. Now for the standings update, not including today's games. In the AL East, Yankees first place 46 and 29, followed by the 42 and 31 Blue Jays, followed by Rays, followed by the 38 and 39 Blue Jays, followed by the 36 and 42 Orioles, followed by the 31 and 43 Red Sox. In the AL Central, the White Guardians are first place 41 and 36, followed by the 39 and 36 White Sox, followed by the 37 and 41 Twins, followed by the 32 and 44 Tigers, followed by the 32 and 45 Royals. In the AL West, Mariners are first place 39 and 39, followed by the 39 and 39 A's, followed by the 36 and 40 Rangers, followed by the 36 and 42 Astros, and followed by the 31 and 47 Angels. In the NL East, Braves in first place in 48 and 27, followed by the 41 and 35 Phillies, followed by the 40 and 37 Nationals, followed by the 39 and 38 Marlins, followed by 34 and 42 Mets. And then Central, the Brewers in first place in 45 and 29, followed by the 30 and 30 for Cardinals, followed by the 40 and 37 Cubs, followed by the 38 and 39 Pirates, followed by the 36 and 39 Reds. And in the NL West, the Dodgers in first place 49 and 28, followed by the 39 and 36 Padres, followed by the 39 and 37 Diamondbacks, followed by the 31 and 45 Giants, followed by the 30 and 47 Rockies. And as for the games currently going on today and that have possibly gone final, and for the one game that got, or at least the one game I know that got postponed. Cubs, Blue Jays did get postponed today. They got them on August 6th. No games have actually gone final yet. So, but as for the games currently going on, then that will be starting soon. White Sox leading the Tigers 3-1 middle of the 8th. The Marlins leading the Giants 2-1 bottom 7. Brewers leading the Braves 9-2 middle 7. The Nationals leading the Rays 3-2 middle 7. Reds leading the Yankees 3-1 bottom 6. Astros leading the Guardians 2-1 bottom 5. Cardinals leading the Royals 9-6 top 4. Rangers leading the Padres through 3. Pirates and Rockies scoreless bottom 2. And Twins and Diamondbacks scoreless bottom 1. As for the games that haven't started, will be starting later. Angels at Flex at 4:05. Reed Detmers against, I believe that's Jack Perkins, not Ray Perkins. Blake. Orioles and Dodgers at 4:10. Brandon Young against Emmett Sheehan. Red Sox and Mariners at 4:10. Peyton Toole against Logan Gilbert. And Mets at Phillies at 7:20. Sunday Night Baseball. David Peterson against Zach Wheeler. That's it for this week's episode of my Name Podcast. Keep watching and listening if you're on YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave against friends. Don't find I go live and post a video. Even if you're on audio, follow the podcast. Leave a review, hit notification post on one of my posts on there. Thank you for watching, listening. I'll see you next week's episode 218. Bye.